Hello, I'm Kads, and welcome to today's video. So, as you might guess from the title thumbnail combo, we are going to be pulling some shards today in pursuit of the Ishiyama, the immovable fragment summon event going on right now. If you were curious, thus far I have accumulated 35 of the total fragments up for grabs, so we're well on our way towards him. I guess a third of the way towards him. But my goal for this fusion is actually a little bit different than the norm. In fact, it's a little bit different from what I discussed in the fusion plan, because I thought about it a bit more while I was editing that particular video, and the idea occurred to me that there is an opportunity for something I'm going to call mysteries for Maud. So essentially, I guess let me give you some context here, brief reprieve here, but in terms of High Mother Maud, as a person who basically does every single fusion, it's practically impossible for me to get excess fragments realistically. And so you can see here, I'm only at 20 out of 100. And I've been stuck here for months at this point, probably over a year since she's been introduced. But she's nowhere in sight because I do every single fusion fragment summon. So I get 100 fragments. I fuse them or save the champion for later. And thus I don't actually get the fragments from said champion. However, my new plan is to take advantage of the fact that I do get a lot of mystery shards by running a lot of campaign for all of the champion training events and tournaments that offer me good rewards. And so on top of min-maxing majority of the fusion summon rushes, that being if there is a 5 fragments up for grabs at 3,000 points and there's 10 more up for grabs at 5,500 points, I usually just skip that 10 fragments and don't overshoot the fusion because I maximize the champion chase and I minimize the summon rush. But going forward, at least for the near term till I get close to running out of mystery shards, obviously I don't want to go all the way down to 0. But my plan is essentially to do the min-max, the exact same thing, but anything above and beyond that to get the extra 10 fragments will be achieved via mystery shards. So 2,000, 2,500, whatever it will take, that excess will be done with mystery shards until I run out, or better yet, until we get Maud, whichever one happens first, we'll kind of see. But essentially, that's just my effort to try and put some effort towards getting her, whilst also maintaining my pursuit of every single fusion, just because you never know when a champion might become useful in the future for future content. Now, despite all of that, in this case, we do actually get to throw all of that out of the window because this is one of the cheapest summon rushes we've been offered in a long time, and I guess, well, maybe a few months, because Stock the Broken was kind of on par with this one. This is really what like old fusions like 2-3 years ago used to look like, about 2,000 for the lower node and then 3,000 for the upper node, and nowadays it's more like 3,000 for the lower node and upwards of 5,000 plus for the upper node. So this is kind of a bargain. This is a steal. And so going out to 6 Sacred's worth is relatively cheap compared to normal, so to speak, today's normal. And so I don't really mind pulling 6 Sacreds in this case. I could still min-max it, air quotes, go for the 4 and then pull 1,000 mystery shards, but that just seems like overkill because at this point I'm used to pulling 6 Sacreds for these and even just to min-max, and so it's kind of on par with what I normally do. So we're making an exception in this case, but ordinarily I would do the minimum and then do the rest with mystery shards, at least for the near term for the upcoming fragment summons and whatnot. So anyways, that is the goal for today. We're going to be pulling 6 Sacred's worth to guarantee us the 15 fragments, and I will still be maximizing the champion chase next weekend as well. So we're going to achieve 110 fragments from this fragment summon. Keep the champion, use him for most likely the Cursed City, and then the excess 10 fragments will be used for or sacrificed for High Mother Maud. And you can see here that I already pre-pulled the mystery shards for this particular session, so we have the 200 ready to go or already completed, and then we just need the 6 Sacreds to get all the way out to the 32 hundo. Now popping back into the portal, let's take a look at the overall shard count. My account at the moment, 615 on the Ancients, 224 on the Voids, 51 on the Primals, and 52 on the Sacreds, which of course we'll be dipping into today. And it should surprise no one that once again, when it's being offered up, we are going to try for Elva Autumnborn. She is number 3 on my most wanted non-void legendaries list, and so we'll see if we can get her. And alongside her, I just picked Muscly Mage. He is currently, I think, unempowered, so duplicates of him will be empowerment, but it's not really that crucial. I just had to pick an epic in order to pick a legendary, so that is where that sits. However, my expectations are heavily tempered by the fact that if we pop up the Mercy Tracker here on the screen here, which will be linked in the description box down below if you'd like a copy of this for yourself. We are fresh off of that Sacred Pogo from last week, I think, and or the week before, whichever. And yeah, so the odds are low that we're going to hit legendary at all. We're going with the base odds of 1 in 16 chance. We're going to be only pulling 6 Sacred, so it's not relatively guaranteed, but you never know. Crazier things have happened. But nonetheless, I do expect in this case to get a bunch of epics along the way. So as is tradition around here, when there is a progression chance events, we're focusing our wish list efforts towards whatever champions we have selected. In this case, of on board, because surely 16th time is the charm. But more realistically, we are going to get 6 epics out of this, and hopefully we get some useful duplicate epics for empowerment. So without further ado, let's dive right into the shard pulls. We've got barely enough space. We've got a copious amount of cash, and hopefully we get some pretty decent. Honestly, let's just keep this one to be average as well. Obviously, I would love to get Elva Autumnborn, but like I said, the odds are really against us, so I'm not really banking on that happening. Falja, who is a pretty interesting champion. I heard she hits relatively hard, but she notably also has this turn meter depletion ability, so if you need that in some particular areas, turn meter stealing, some of those challenge tournaments, Nyrees and Union only, Dwarves only, etc., she could be useful for stuff like that. Masked Fearmonger, absolutely terrible, trash champion, but he does have like some base fear in his kit somewhere, but very, very useless. There is our 25x proc there on Mausoleum Mage. Pretty decent champion. He has a cleanse here that removes all debuffs, so it's a full cleanse, but no block debuffs. But he does have block debuffs here, increased courier, increased defense on the split on 3-turn cooldown. So kind of like a Curse City champion, at least for my purposes in the end game. But back in the day, he used to be like a staple of a seer partner with the amount of buffs that he could put up here. Speaking of Cursed City champions, we have another one here with Vala, who has an AoE decreased defense. Granted, it's not 100% chance, but nonetheless, you know, if no one else has it in the restrictions, then she can work for that purpose. So that is her utility list on my account. 2 more sacreds to go. Let's see if we can round it off here with some more useful epics for empowerment. Maruka, pretty nice. I do use her for my current iteration of my Sand Devil team with the Revive on Death-esque comp, as well as the single target heal. She was also helpful in stage 23 of the last rotation of the Curse City, so that single target cleanse did come in handy. So that is empowerment for her. And then the last sacred for the day is going to be another epic, as expected, and it's Steel Skull, who I believe is fully empowered on my account. I'll have to verify that, but I think he's fully empowered. I'll have to check, but if not, then this is like +3 to +4. But either way, pretty decent champion, increased defense with some healing, and then a single target cleanse, kind of like Maruka as well. So decent support, faction wars, Curse City style champion. And yeah, that is gonna do it for this session. So we did manage to get the 25x, so we did proc on the Mausoleum Mage, but like I said, it's not really that imperative that I get him in particular, but I just wanted to select someone, and once again, we missed our chance for Elva Autumnborn. But that's to be expected. Base rates, base summoning rates, and then obviously we're fresh off of Mercy, so the odds are very, very, very low. So this is the expected outcome, so to speak. Now let's double check my math. In the Summon Rush itself, we should be just over 3,200, and yep, precisely there. That is perfect. So we're going to save the energy. I think Champion Training starts tomorrow, so we're going to hold off on that, or I think it's a tournament actually. I think it's a Champion Training tournament. But yeah, we're going to hold off and save that energy for that, because we are going to need it. And if anyone's curious as far as how the fusion is going, obviously we just got 50 more fragments, so we're at 50 out of 100, so we're halfway done as of that. I already finished Ice Golem, so I'm kind of chilling for today, so to speak, and waiting for tomorrow for the beginning of Champion Training, and then the day after, I believe, is when the Spider Tournament starts. So that is where we're going to be focusing my energy efforts for the next few days. So yeah, it appears that Steel Skull is +4 empowered on my account in the vault there, so we don't need him, but I might be able to shift around some faction gardens and free up some champions for future food and feeding and whatnot. And then I think Maruka was the other one. She's going to be +1 empowered. But yeah, not shocking. Like I said, as at the beginning, I expected to walk away with 6 epics here, and we're totally fine with that as the outcome. But yeah, that is going to do it for today's video. We're going to keep this one short and sweet. Mission accomplished. We achieved all the fragments that we got all the fragments that we wanted to get from the Summon Rush. Be sure to let me know in the comment section down below if you were also pulling some of your shards for the purposes of this fragment summon, and if you got anything amazing from the handful of shards that you happened to pull. As always, if you did enjoy this video, then be sure to hit that like button down below. It really does help out the channel, and feel free to hit that subscribe button down below as well for more content just like this one in the future. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.